So we'll connect to Ujjayi breath, hearing that rhythmic and that oceanic breath. And feel the shoulders effortlessly relaxing away from the jaw. And the neck softening so as to lengthen. And the tailbone roots or sinks downward. So, what will we enact today? Are we enacting the loving inclusion of all sensations, all experiences? Are we enacting a caring touch in and with and throughout the body? Are we enacting understanding, clarifying, knowing what's really and truly here for us to experience? What are we enacting? And that is entirely up to you. And what breath supports that? What breath mirrors that? Breath is a behavior, so breath is part of our enactment. What will we communicate to the deepest parts of our psyche? It's kind of a great way to start our day. Let's switch the cross of our legs, and we'll begin with a round of Uddiyana. So we'll go fingertips to ground. And the shoulders being moved downward, the chest relative to the shoulders, lifting upward. Inhale. So taking that breath into the body. Where? Where do you bring that breath into? This is a function of choice. Where do you choose to feel your breath? And now hold the breath. Letting that breath spread through a soft and softening body, a softening core. Bring hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty. And then knitting, gathering the low belly, sinking it in. As the movement grows deeper, sensing also deepens. And then soften the belly. Resume Ujjayi breath. We'll take 2, we'll take 3. You can start to wash and feel these different gradients, these different currents of breath. They get into different places. When we open, when our body opens, breath reaches new areas. All right. And then again, we'll go with fingertips to the ground. We'll go with feet active. And simply by choosing, where will you feel this inhale in your body? Where will you feel this breath with your body? Pause and hold. Softening all around the heart. Bring the hands forward, swift, thorough exhale. Let there be a little bit of closure between the jaw and the throat as you draw the belly in. And release. We'll resume our Ujjayi breath. And feel where breath goes. Where is it allowed to go? Where is it open to going? With left leg bent, let's straighten right leg. You can choose the bend of this left leg. I'm going to go heel behind hip. And moving into a side bend over the right leg. So it's here in this enactment, this practice, it's your ceremony, it's your way of communing with these deep, deep wisdom and messages of your body. And here we are with the simple elements of breath, sensation, a little bit of curiosity. And the hope is that we go deeper, deeper than words, the discursive mind, the tasking mind. Go deeper. Forward fold, inhaling the left hand down. You can bring both hands around the right leg. And in this fold, you can continue to contact that deep, deep reservoir, low belly. Gathering, knitting, sinking. Can be an action of exhale. And release. When we inhale, come up, we'll switch sides. 2 poses. Left leg straightened, right leg bent. Side bend over the left leg. So if we are indeed in a process of learning, creating new connections, maybe we can enact that dendritic growth. And so to understand that, we can just do something as simple as imagine or remember how trees branch and grow. And so as we engage the hand, we can enact in and with our body our own dendritic growth, our own branching and expanding. So let your active feet, your active hands, your limbs, your sense of limbs in space be part of that enactment. Forward fold, inhaling the right hand down. Folding the sternum over the left shin. Breath comes into very branch-like, very tree-like, branch-like lung system. Inhale, we'll make our way back up. We'll lie on back. And while we'll work basic and familiar to us abdominals, maybe what's not familiar is the sense of the abdomen, the depth of our reach. So with feet supported on ground or taken off ground. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And finding the tip of the tailbone. shifting it toward the sky. There's a great abdominal pressure associated with that move. Exhale, send that left leg out. And again, spreading the foot so we can enact that growth, that leafing, that branching all throughout the body. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee, returning to your start position. Feel the tip of the tailbone rooting away from the brainstem, which is, for us here, slightly the sky. Exhale, send the right leg out. Growing it out, branching it out. Spreading the foot bones. Sink the low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. Exhaling, reaching out through the left, reaching out through the armpits and the elbows. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, return left foot to its start spot. Feel the tip of the tailbone moving away from the brainstem where your hands are. Exhale the right leg out, reach. Draw and sink the low belly down. Inhale, bend the right knee. Let's continue. Let's do 4 more on each side. So we're going to stay with it, letting that process. One side, then the other. One breath, then the other. Letting that process gonna let us search in. We're gonna give ourselves some moments to search in, to sink in. To sense in. Mm-hmm. Dendrite, little trees. Little trees. So our sensing branching into the body. Little bridges, connections, connections, webs, branches. So the repetitions for those deeper and persistent connections, they may be new today, they'll be less new a different day, and they'll be who we are and where we hang out and what we have another day. That seems pretty complete. Let's remain lying. We'll do one more. Just straddle lifting through. So when we bring the legs up, you have ample room to your left and your right. Separate the legs. With our back fully supported on the ground, that's the sacrum, the spine. we can work towards straightening the legs. And they might still be bent a little bit. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And exhaling, branching out through both legs, both hips, through the knees, ankles, feet, all the way to the toe tips. Sink the low belly down. Inhaling into the low belly, the pelvic floor. And then exhaling, sinking the belly in, branching, reaching the legs out. We'll continue here too. Inhaling. The shoulders don't need to touch the ground for now. They can hover. Continue on in these next, what did we say, 4 or 5 straddle lifting through moves. As you're sinking that belly down, feel the head and the neck relaxing into your hands. So being quite purposeful to feel the neck grow relaxed even as the body may be stretching or warming, even heating up. So one of the ways we allow ourselves to continue to remain in this enactment and this in-body communication is when our neck, our brainstem area, our head area can be quite at ease. So as you're finishing up, there's probably 2 or 3 more here for you. Does your neck feel at ease? As you're pulling that belly down, is your neck feeling at ease? We could make anything seem really difficult, unnecessarily so, by simply tensing around the back of the brain and the neck. We can make anything seem hard. All right. So great. You've helped your legs together. When we turn onto a side, we're setting up turbo dog. So let's go hands and knees, and then we'll tune our way in from there. So we do all this great stuff to explore breath moving in and through the hips and the sacrum, and that sacrum is a branch, a nexus of nerve. It branches out from there. So it would do well to also get that wonderful spinal fluid and breath, we'll say breath, to wash through the head area. So from hands and knees, set the hands forward several inches. So they're not plumb under the shoulders, they're forward from the shoulders. As you bend the elbows, Find the chest muscles. You'll find them when you tweeze the forearms parallel with one another. Inhaling. And exhaling with the neck relaxed. Suspended. We'll press the knees off the ground, turbo dog. So broadening across the top of the back, the tops of the shoulder blades. Can you find that motion? And perhaps the resultant sensation of that stretching, spreading, where all those tissues around the base of the neck, it's smoothed out, spread out. It's going to take some armpit action. It's going to take some of that musculature around the armpit and the breast and the chest. Now, while the elbows remain that bit bent, so it's not downward dog, we are in turbo dog. We want to help to cause and stoke that chest muscle to wake up and all that shoulder stuff to feel good, all that shoulder structure. Feel like your sit bones are reaching away from your collar, so the torso subtly elongates. Now in the final 6 or so breaths here, I want you to have the option. Do you want to reach your right leg up for 3, your left leg up for 3? Or would you rather just keep all the feet you have on the ground for 6 breaths? Okay. Now if you're reaching that leg up, I do see some legs in the silhouettes and the shadows there. Branch, reach, grow that leg out. So your intent to feel that growing, reaching. In a way, we're enacting with our body that growth, where our nervous system goes, I need to make a new connection here. And something starts to spark at the very periphery, at the very end of that cell, and then something starts to kind of bubble with activity, and it's a pushing through and a growing. I hope you switch sides. There you go. And when you're complete, we'll set the feet down, we'll set the knees down. And then we'll inhale the hands under the shoulders so that straight away we can exhale and move into downward dog. Now, while the hands or the arms may not feel like they can grow further than the ground, you can still reach them. Inhale, step right foot forward. We'll go with warrior two. Exhaling the arms out to the sides. Growing, spreading, reaching out through every fingertip. And feeling the tail sink away from the brainstem, and the head and the neck growing lighter from the rest of the spine. Kind of in suspension. All right, and now this twining move. On exhale, we'll hook the left elbow over the right elbow. Arms in eagle. And inhaling, unwind. We'll bring those arms all the way out to the side. Triangle. Straighten the right leg. Adjust left should you need. Exhale, right hand, right side ribs, lengthening to the right. You'll decide if you want to put some blocks into play. And you can embody or enact that expansion, that kind of the front of the chest spreading, maybe stretching, right? Reaching those left hand, those bright, bright, energized fingertips into the sky. Opening up the shoulder, turning, exposing the front of heart, reaching through those legs, right? Now, in that expanded state, connect to breath and relax the neck. Inhaling, we'll bend right knee, set hands down for lunge, place the left knee down. Drawing the arms up, exhaling the tailbone, and away from the brain. And feeling your breath washing through the brain. Depending on your level of comfort, you can start to arc. And very specifically, you can select for that arcing to occur mainly through the upper back. So from that lunge, that really vibrant leg connection to the ground, start to lift upper back from mid-back. And start to reach with the arms into that space behind you. And as you're starting to bias a little bit, that sternum and that upper lung area, connect to breath. When we're working with prana, we're working with kind of a life force, a creative life force. That top of lung, very important. A low belly, very important. Release. Inhale, we'll go hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Step the right foot back. And draw the arm bones away from the neck, away from the head as you lower. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, lower downward dog. So we'll do those few moves on the other side. Inhale the left foot forward, warrior two stance. Yep. And we're taking the arms into eagle. I believe it's right over left this time. If I'm incorrect, just do it correctly. I'll learn from you. Good. And then bring ourselves into the stance, into the pose, so that sensation is undeniable. It is irrefutable that there is sensing here. There is sensation here. If that means deepen into this stance, go for it. The beautiful thing is we don't have to make space for words. In fact, this may even work better if we leave no space for the thinking, wording mind. So this is very much, sometimes they say from the bottom up, from the ground up, from the sensorial, from the substance and the chemicals of the body. We can make sense in poetry and word about it later. We can discuss it later, right? And that'll form another kind of feedback loop of integration when we can articulate it and say it and describe it and color it and frame it. Right? But here, right, the sensation. Inhale, let's unwind the arms, readying for triangle, straighten the left, adjust the right. Exhaling, left hand forward, left side ribs lengthen. And here we go, triangle. Is it possible to sense the limbs reaching into the room and the space around you while the neck feels soft, at ease? The face feels relaxed. Now we've got a lunge here, bending left knee, inhale, hands down, right knee down. Planting those feet, drawing the arms up. What's really neat is that this branching isn't just a nervous system learning, though it is. Right? The vessels, as they become all right, as they find ease, as the muscles relax, the vessels dilate. These new connections get nourished by our state of at-easeness. Our new connections get nourished as we discover a felt sense of, oh, this is all right. Inhale, we'll bring the hands down. Now, before we step back, maybe you need a block. We'll set the block between the ankles. It's just a device to press against, and then we can lower down. Boat, we'll interlace the hands behind the back. If you have any shoulder issues, you can do this with hands free. You can reach back without the clasp. It won't be the same stretch, but you can open up and find ease in the shoulder. Right. So boat. Interlace. If you put a block between your ankles, give it some zest. And as you're pressing your ankles into that block, there may be the impetus to tighten the space up between the toes. Let the toe space open up. Let those toes branch out also. Inhale into the abdomen. Kind of cushions underneath that low back. Exhaling, reaching the legs back, the knuckles back. We're here for a couple more breaths. All the way to that upper lung. Okay. Release. Inhale into the abdomen so you can pick that chest up a smidge. Get those hands under the shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward. We're doing half moon. Now as I'm stepping forward, I'm also just getting my strap nearby. Half moon first. Right hand is outside and in front of the right foot. It's a tensional move. This will work for some of you who do the throwing things. To better connect that right shoulder with the left hip, firmly plant that right hand on surface, block or ground, and intimate unscrewing the jar lid counterclockwise as your left thigh internally rotates. Just intimate the left leg and the right arm rotating, and that should zip things up through that front side of body. So you get a little more zip of support through the front of the body. Inhale, set the left foot down for warrior one. So pretty big stepping back. Scoop up that strap should you need it. And let me show you this first. So I have a pretty big loop. And my left hand will lower the loop. Get a little closer. And I'm just putting my right arm in there like a sling. And now my left hand can just hang out. So this is very, very comfortable because I'm not trying to crank my hand up my back. Here we are in warrior one. And my right arm's in a sling, a loop, sling at the back of my body. Now inhale. And as you're exhaling, press that forearm down into the loop. Letting that right shoulder just grow a bit more spacious. Okay. And if I flare my right hand bones around the edge, my elbow kind of flares back. So hand flares around the corner, my elbow lifts or flares back a little bit. And now, if this is a great position for you, we'll start to work that little bit of back bend. So I'm doing this just because a few reasons, but this feels like a much better place to play with the back bend, like Lance Dodger. And if I put it all the way down to my hips, not all of us have the same arm, torso length. So some of us tall torso people get a little smushed on one side. So just here to help. If it's not helpful, you can throw your strap at me. All right, release. Okay. Now, warrior one with a little modest back bend. Inhale, taking the arms up. And as the arms lift, the upper back articulates. And if it doesn't articulate, use these next several breaths to feel for those bits of novel movement. Start to make those connections. How do I experience the breath moving and articulating those joints around the sternum, those joints around the spine between my blades? Yeah, you can start to reach back. You can reach back with the arms. You can reach back with your organs. And as you're reaching back, one final inquiry. Is there a quality of softness around the heart or a sense of ease? Is it detectable? Inhale, come upright. We'll set hands down, exhaling chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Push the tops of the feet downward. Exhaling, downward dog. What is your breath saying to body? Is the communication one of there's ease here, there's steadiness? There may be rigor, but is there a sense of this is okay? Inhale, step the left foot forward. Here's our half moon. Half moon. So our left hand down, right foot hip height. Now, if you need a little zip of support through the front side of your body, I'll describe it on this side. So caveat, have your left hand firmly on surface so the palm and the fingers can connect. And to create that little extra zip of connection from left shoulder to right hip, try this. The left hand will intimate turning a jar lid tighter, clockwise. As you internally rotate the right thigh, it's just an intimation. I'm just subtly hinting at the movement. The hinting will provide enough to wind up and tension that fascia, that network, all of our pre-existing branches. There you go. So I get that foot really active. I do get that flex, and then I invoke that subtle, subtle internal rotation with the hand. It's kind of neat because it goes right through that low belly area. There you go. There you go. And how's that deep breath? Inhale, bending left knee, sitting right foot down for warrior one. Archer sling. So my right hand is offering the loop to my left forearm. And in that way, my left arm doesn't have to go sliding down looking for my pelvis. I put my arm where it feels good for my shoulder. That's the good place. And hang it over. Pretty easy. Inhale. Now I use this left arm as leverage. So now my pushing down left arm helps create that chest. Ooh, blossoming that little lift. And for me, again, this is my frame. You'll have to play with some of these things for your frame. But for my frame, this is a much better angle to get into my spine, like a little subtle back bend. So now as I push down with that forearm, warrior one. Left shoulder doesn't have to feel super stretched. And when we release, we'll take both arms up and work as just a little back bend in warrior one. And as you're reaching back, can you find a quality of softness or ease all around the heart? So that warrior one back bend. Yeah, we're hunting. There we go. Good. Inhale, we'll come upright. We'll set hands down, exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Tops of feet press down, let the arms pull the chest forward. And exhale, downward dog. We'll set knees down. Let's have a seat. And we'll go shoelace right over left. We will cut it pretty close. If you're on a time frame. And we'll take the right hand, reaching it away from the right ear. Neck release. Now, once you find a little bit of ease, like a little in the neck, you can pitch your way forward. So you might just find a little bit more of that stretch around the pelvis, the glutes. I think what's important here after a little dose of back bends is just that we're breathing into the brain, we're breathing into the sacrum, that we can access, the fluids can access them both. All right, let's switch sides. So I got my left ankle over my right. I'm starting with a left hand reach for the left neck. And really I'm just waiting for a first wave of release, which is entirely sufficient. To then, if you choose, to begin a forward fold. So both the neck and the area around the sacrum, the butt, are softening together. There's no bad horsey, right? They're just conditions that help us learn and relearn. Sweet, let's press out of there. And if you have a rest position that you like, whether it's seated like a seated meditation or lying like Shavasana, I invite you to that. Letting these next washes of breath spread all throughout, from core to those dendritic like finger and toe ends, the periphery. And that breath wash from brain to tail. That entire tract of a main part of our nervous system. A system of recording, remembering. Letting that breath wash through the fluids of our body, the system of sensating and respiring. We are fluid, intelligent, chemical, electrical, magnetic, piezoelectric wonders. Now, if you're in Shavasana and you want to afford yourself a longer rest, please feel free to continue resting. If you're ready to move out of your yoga practice and into the rest of day, help yourself up to seated. Namaste.